Our next speaker grew up right here in Northern Virginia, Dr. Erwin Gianchandani, and he is Assistant Director at the U.S. National Science Foundation. And he has overall responsibility for the Technology Innovation Partnership Directorate, we refer to as TIP. This newly established directorate extends NSF's remit to help better enable and accelerate the readiness of scientific innovations in getting to market. So prior to becoming the assistant director, he served as a senior advisor for translation, innovation, and partnership, where he helped develop plans for the new TIP Directorate, which he currently leads, in collaboration with his colleagues at NSF, other government agencies, industry, and academia. Dr. Gianchandani holds a Ph.D. in biomedical engineering from the University of Virginia, and in 2021, he received the Distinguished Presidential Rank Award awarded to members of the federal government's Senior Executive Service for sustained extraordinary accomplishment. We're grateful and pleased to have him as a public servant, serving our country so well, and we're very grateful to have him here with us today. Please welcome Dr. Erwin Gianchandani.
All right, good morning, everybody. Oh, come on, we can do better than that. Good morning, everybody. All right, I know that I stand between you and a break, and so I will try to be efficient, but at the same time, really hit on some of the key points of some of the things that we are working on at the National Science Foundation. I am delighted to be able to join you today. I think it's just a tremendous time for quantum and quantum information science and engineering. We're all really witnessing, I think, an important moment where we're seeing tremendous advances in capabilities, technologies, and impacts, and I think we have a tremendous opportunity to be able to seize upon that as we go forward as well. So many of you may know the National Science Foundation, but I suspect some of you don't know us quite as well. We are the federal government's leader when it comes to investments in basic research. And we at NSF are proud of our long history spanning decades, almost 7 decades in fact, of advancing the frontiers of science and engineering, including quantum information science. Over those 7 decades, we have enabled new breakthroughs, we have fostered nascent fields of study, and we have supported researchers at every level as they have explored and innovated and designed and built the many different components and concepts that underpin the quantum innovation ecosystem that we're witnessing today and that are driving some of the announcements that you just heard from this stage a few minutes ago. NSF's investments have resulted in Nobel Prizes for the theory of superconductivity, the manipulation of individual photons and ions, and the description of the topological phases of matter. And as a computer scientist by training myself, I can appreciate how NSF grants have really touched all of the different disciplines that intersect with quantum information science. In computer science, for example, they have led to Alan Turing Awards for computer architecture and complexity theory and cryptography, quantum cryptography to be specific. Now, after decades of basic research and exploration, quantum applications are coming out of the lab and into industry faster than they have ever before. And I think this convergence of quantum physics and mechanics and information science and beyond is really propelling a surge in translational research in terms of quantum algorithms, sensors, and platforms. And it's leading to applications that are new and ever-changing for coherence and superposition and entanglement as well. Now, by some estimates, the US private sector has invested over $6 billion since the bipartisan enactment of the National Quantum Initiative in 2018. And at the same time, there's more science and engineering that needs to be done to determine how quantum information science can really improve our daily lives, how it can enhance communities, and how it can enhance our economies, not just here in the US, but around the world as well. And I think to a large extent, that investment in science and engineering is largely dependent upon the federal government. And that's why at NSF, we have 4 key priorities for investing in quantum information science that we believe directly align with the National Quantum Initiative. We aim to explore the frontiers of quantum. We aim to expand participation by folks from all different backgrounds and all different geographies in quantum information science and engineering. We aim to accelerate innovation in quantum into new products and services, and we aim to develop infrastructure that allows us to be able to foster the real-world testing of quantum systems that needs to happen. And across all of these areas, I think one of the key things that you will see is that we are looking to international cooperation to be able to leverage expertise and resources among like-minded countries and partners to achieve our shared goals. If you look at the CHIPS and Science Act that Congress passed last year and the President signed into law, any of the key technology areas that are called out in that legislation, we're seeing countries all around the world investing heavily, countries in this room investing heavily in those areas. And so it's imperative for us in the US to keep pace with those investments, but also to ensure that we are partners with other like-minded countries to be able to leverage resources, to be able to leverage talent, and to be able to leverage expertise as we move forward as well. So let me give you a few examples of our investments at NSF that span the 4 pillars around frontiers, participation and engagement, acceleration of innovation, and test beds. Let me give you some examples of that over the course of the next few slides. First, the frontiers. As part of the National Quantum Initiative, NSF established 5 Quantum Leap Challenge Institutes over the course of the last few years. In the aggregate, these institutes constitute an investment in over 600 researchers and students who span more than 150 universities, national labs, and companies that have come together to form large and multidisciplinary activities to advance the frontiers of quantum information science and engineering. These folks are pioneering biomedical applications of quantum sensors. They're yielding new platforms for quantum computing, and they're giving rise to new ways to verify and inform quantum simulations and interconnects for heterogeneous quantum networks that will enable distributed and modular quantum computing into the future. Collectively, they have published more than 280 publications just in the last 3 years alone. And as a matter of fact, just recently, one of the institutes that we have funded showed quantum state transduction from microwave to optical photons. Quantum interconnects like that will enable heterogeneous quantum computers that use different components for memory, for processing, and for long-distance networking. And the applications are endless too. So we've seen researchers, for instance, fairly recently at one of the institutes use optical frequency comb metrology to be able to develop a better analysis of how we can detect COVID faster through the breath, through an individual's breath, faster and more accurately than using a nasal swab. Our investments at the frontiers of quantum do go beyond these institutes as well. So last month, we took a major step toward realizing the benefits of quantum sensors with an investment on the order of almost $30 million and 18 teams across the country. Now, as we think about the wide range of applications and the diverse areas of science and industry and society where quantum technology is going to play a key role, we also believe that it's imperative for us to think about a well-trained and dynamic and diverse quantum workforce as well. And meeting the demand for that quantum workforce in our minds is not just about training today's youth for new jobs, but it's also about skilling and reskilling the workforce so that we can ensure that all Americans, including today's workforce, and including women and those who have been traditionally underserved or underrepresented in STEM fields that give rise to the frontiers of quantum, that they too are a part of the quantum revolution. And so to that end, we are making investments in new curricula and new instructional materials all across the US. This includes master's degrees in quantum science and technology, undergraduate minors, senior capstone research projects that bring industry to the table as partners to help shape the research directions, summer schools on quantum-related topics, certificate programs for professional education and upskilling and reskilling, internship programs for graduate students and undergraduate students that give them experiential exposure, and opportunities for high school teachers to be able to join quantum information science research teams each summer and take back what they're learning into their classrooms as well. I think even more importantly, all of that is important, but even just as importantly, experiences for the public at large to be able to engage via museum exhibits or quantum-themed escape rooms and much, much more as well. As an example, the NSF Convergence Accelerator funded a project at The Ohio State University, a partnership that's led by Ohio State, with participation from multiple historically Black colleges and universities to re-envision how quantum information science and engineering is taught to enable a diverse and capable and effective quantum workforce. So as quantum technology grows, it's going to become more integrated with a variety of industries and sectors of our economy, and quantum will evolve and grow in a way that will soon, very soon, be talking not just about quantum information scientists, but also talent in agriculture, in biotechnology, in medicine, and so on, who have to have the fluency and the currency of this field as well. Another way that NSF is looking ahead to the nation's need for a diverse quantum-capable workforce is a program that we call Expand QISE, or Expanding Capacity in Quantum Information Science and Engineering. One of the most important aspects of this program is that it's aimed at unlocking the talent that exists across the country, including in places that we have underinvested in historically. So with a commitment of almost $40 million, Expand QISE is about lowering barriers to entry and encouraging participation from a broad and diverse array of educational institutions, including HBCUs, including minority-serving institutions, including community and technical colleges as well. Every Expand QISE project is a collaboration between one of these emerging research institutions and an established center of excellence in quantum information science and technology. And by building these types of connections, we're hoping to create new pathways and new opportunities for quantum education. And we're really hoping ultimately to be able to strengthen and expand the talent base that will power a quantum-enabled economy. These are all efforts to leverage diversity that can hopefully contribute to the design of new quantum systems that can then be taken up by a diverse population as well. And it's really fitting with our director's mission at NSF around how do we create opportunity everywhere and harness innovation anywhere. The third pillar is about translation and how we translate research into technologies with economic and societal benefits has long been a priority for NSF. But the CHIPS and Science Act legislation that was signed into law last year did something special for us. It created our first new directorate in more than 30 years, the Directorate for Technology, Innovation, and Partnerships, or TIP, that I have the privilege and the pleasure to be able to help lead. For us, TIP is about a new strategic mindset. It's about trying to supercharge research outcomes and speed the cycle of discovery and innovation all across the country and around the world with our partners as well. Our goal really is about trying to allow research to more quickly become useful to people and to society, about accelerating technologies that address the pressing national, societal, and geostrategic challenges that we face, while also getting Americans involved and trained in the process as well. So unfortunately, for too long, there's been a disconnect between research outcomes and their broad use. Yes, we have public investments that largely go toward foundational or basic research, and we have private dollars that go toward trying to really think about new products and solutions that we can develop. And while NSF has sought to provide funding that tries to bridge that gap, TIP really is our opportunity to be able to double down on that and to be able to help researchers translate their discoveries into prototypes and develop them into the products and services that we can use in our everyday lives. And by bridging that funding gap, we can enable research to make an impact more quickly. I'll give you a couple examples from our portfolio. So our Small Business Innovation Research Program, or SBIR program, supports about 400 startups and small businesses across the US every year to help them take their research to the market. One startup on the left-hand side here is called Ionic Scale. This is a spin-out from Georgia Tech that's doing work in quantum sensing, trying to build miniaturized, low-cost mass spectrometers based on ion trap technology. And this work could have very broad applications, ranging from advanced chemical detection technology to being able to identify harmful chemicals in homes or help with early disease detection as well. Another case study on the right-hand side, atom computing. Atom Computing received NSF SBIR funding to develop new methods for controlling individual atoms in quantum computing platforms to be able to enhance the reliability of quantum calculations in fields like chemistry and pharmaceutical research as well. But we also know that startups and investment tend to be concentrated in certain parts of our country. And we must do more. We must be deliberate to be able to harness that geography of innovation and to expand and accelerate new technologies to the market and society. And that's why last year, we launched a program out of TIP, our very first program, the NSF Regional Innovation Engines, or NSF Engines program, to catalyze regional partnerships that not only accelerate advances in key technology areas, but also emphasize pressing societal challenges and supporting economic and job growth, job creation, job growth within a particular geographic region. You can see on this map the investment, the states and territories that are covered by 44 awards, each $1 million, that we announced earlier this year in May. These are development or planning grants that we hope will lead to future engines, where each engine has the potential of receiving up to $160 million to be able to do that innovation and capacity building, to be able to do that ecosystem building, to be able to give rise to an innovation economy in a particular region and make that region be the hub for the nation and potentially the world in a particular technology and societal challenge space as well. Quantum is a focus of our investments here. I'll give you a couple of examples of the projects that we funded. One is led by the University of Montana and aimed at advancing quantum research and technology development capabilities across the states of Montana, Wyoming, and Idaho. And another, led by the University of Connecticut, brings together 19 academic institutions, companies, nonprofits, government agencies to be able to make Connecticut a hub for quantum technology and innovation and entrepreneurship as well. So I encourage you to follow what we're doing with the Engines program, because later this year we will be announcing the first set of full-fledged engines, like I said, up to $160 million over 10 years, to have the framework and the investment to cultivate the partnerships across industry and nonprofits and academia and government and beyond to be able to enable the technology development that will create new jobs and train our future workforce while positively impacting society and the economy as well. Lastly, let me talk about infrastructure. As with any field or industry, access to testing environments in quantum information science and engineering is key to being able to validate new approaches and new solutions as well. And yet, that access largely remains confined to a select few, to industry and to top-tier universities as well. And so earlier this summer, we announced a new effort called the National Quantum Virtual Laboratory, or NQVL, where we're hoping to be able to democratize access to capabilities, to technologies, to platforms, so that by a federation of resources coming together, we can enable researchers and students and innovators to be able to engage in quantum research and innovation. This virtual laboratory, this federation, is about trying to cultivate a shared ecosystem that facilitates the journey from foundational research to market-ready applications and facilitates the training of a cadre of talent, not only equipped with how you do foundational research to market and applications, but how you build a testing environment, a virtual laboratory of this kind as well. And the funding opportunity for the NQVL is out right now, and you can learn more about it on NSF's website at nsf.gov. So I hope you see over the course of the last few minutes that at the core of our approach at the National Science Foundation is a commitment to building the strong partnerships between government and industry and academia. We are open for partnering, we are open for business, so that we can foster the collaborations and ultimately the ecosystems that will power our economy and unlock all the potential that science and technology has to offer, in this case, in quantum information science. And I can't stress this part enough. All of you in this room are a critical part of our success at NSF. We need your continued support. We need your participation. We need your engagement in our investments, but also in working together with us side by side as we work to try to realize all of the opportunities and the potential for quantum science and technology that this area has in store for us. You know, the CHIPS and Science Act that passed last year in many ways is a once-in-a-generation opportunity. And where we are today in quantum, in many ways, is a once-in-a-generation opportunity as well. So by working together, there's no one singular path to success, but there are the many winding roads and pathways that we can take to go the distance in realizing the vision and the potential for quantum information science over the course of the coming years, the coming decade, and beyond. So I look forward to working with you. I hope this has been the start of a conversation, and I want to thank you for your time and your attention today as well.